Hi everyone, I'm Tim Von Rieden here at cgcookie.com, and this video is going to be a little different because rather than it being a tutorial, it's going to be an unveiling and first impression video of the new Wacom Cintiq that just came out. And I'm going to take you through setting it up, making sure you have it all in working order, and my initial impressions with it and how I feel it works with Photoshop. I'm also going to be using this little video hand quarter, and I'm going to be cutting back and forth between this camera and this camera, so that I can give you better angles of the Cintiq and setting it up and making sure that I'm showing you everything correctly. So with that, let's get started. So here it is, guys. I'm going to take it and open it up. And here we go. Here is the new Cintiq 13HD interactive pen display, of course. Voila. So this is the actual tablet that we'll be drawing right on top of. We're going to see what else this box has inside of it. So this is the different stands that you can do, and you can set it at different angles depending on your comfort level. And I'm sure I'll pick one once I use it for a while and kind of mess with the different angles. Oof. Got a wonderful little case here. Much nicer than the ones in the past. Whoa. I also read that they have different colors, and you can choose what color you want to put on your pen nib, and I'm going to stick with the red, since that's my favorite color anyways. And something important you guys should know before I even pull any more cords out is that if you're working with a Mac or MacBook Pro, that you might not have an HDMI port in the back. So what you need to buy is this little adapter, and it's a mini display port to HDMI adapter. And what you do, we're going to plug it right into there, and then we are ready for some HDMI action. Okay, so we got a lot of cords happening in this one cord. So this is their new 3-in-1 cord that they were marketing, and this should make it much simpler to connect your Cintiq without too many wires clogging up the back of your station. And we also have the power cord and the CD. So these are all the different components that come with the Cintiq. So I'll lay them all out here for you. And now let's go ahead and try to get this guy connected. So included is this nice little quick start guide that you can make sure you have all your parts, and it has a pretty straightforward installation guide, and I'm going to be taking you through those simple steps. So the first thing they do is have you make sure you have all your materials, and we do. So then from there we're going to install the software that they include in the CD onto the computer. So as you can see, the CD came up, and I'm just going to double click the install app. And it's going to take us through some prompt following questions and making sure that the installation goes correctly. Now here it'll ask you if you're right or left-handed. So since I'm right-handed, I'm going to go next. So now it's asking us for the hardware installation, and it's telling us to plug in the USB in the back to turn the Cintiq on. But without any power, our Cintiq won't even turn on. So now we're going to start hooking up all the cords that comes with. So here's the AC adapter, and it comes in these two little parts. You just push the top part in and slide it down. And there you go. So now I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. And this is where it might get a little confusing, but what this connects to is the 3-wire prong. So this one connects into here, like that, as you can see. And then see how it extends all the way to this side? This is the part that you connect into your tablet on the right side. like so. Then from here, we're going to plug in the other 2 cords that are on the 3-prong into the back. So like I said, if you have your adapter, or if you're working on a PC, you can plug that right in to the HDMI. And then the other one, just make sure you have a USB port free. There you go. And then from here, we can continue on the hardware installation. So now that I have it all plugged in, I'm going to choose Next. Then from here, I'm going to go through the Wacom installation guide. Make sure it's all registered. And the installation was successful. So then from here, it might ask you to register, and I will do that at a later time. So now that we have the Cintiq installed, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. So I'm just going to hold this lower button, and I believe until the light shows on the top right corner. And there we go. So now you can see my Cintiq is turned on. And right now it's kind of acting as a second monitor. So to change that, I'm going to go to my system preferences. I'm going to go to my displays. And I'm going to choose under arrangement, mirror displays. So now you can see as I clicked it, the screens went blue for a second, and now they are displaying the exact same thing. And the first thing I'm going to want to do with my pen is I'm going to want to make sure I calibrate it. So first, I'm going to close all of this out. You can even see how now my pen's a little off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to System Preferences, choose my Wacom tablet, and then go to Calibration under the grip pen. So I want to calibrate my Cintiq, choose Calibrate, and now it's going to ask me to tap the center of each target as it appears. So I want to make sure I'm doing this as accurately as possible. So that I get the best calibration I can. And complete, choose OK. And now to do a quick test, just kind of hover over things, try to click on things, and just make sure it's working and all. And it seems like mine is. So I'm going to go ahead and just edit a few more settings. So I'm going to edit the grip pen settings. I'm going to have my top clicker be a right click, and my bottom be a pan. Choose OK. I like the tip feel to be a little softer. And I'm going to play with the different functions of this, the side icons that I have, but I'm going to do that when I have Photoshop open. So for now I'm just going to move that aside. And I'm going to go ahead and open Photoshop. So here, I'm going to make File New. Let's make it 8.5 by 11. And I'm going to try this out. Okay. So, still going to do some of the normal things I would do, like make new layers. I'm going to grab black. I kind of want the brush to act like a pencil, so I'm going to choose a brush with some shape dynamics turned on. It's a little different doing this with one hand, but I still want to try it. Wow, I mean, it feels really cool. I mean, I feel like I'm in my sketchbook right now. I'm really surprised with how well it's registering the pressure. Yes, so initial impression on this Cintiq is very nice. I can't lie, this is wonderful because I struggle with line art when I do digital art, where when I'm on paper I feel it's one of my strong suits. So I'm hoping maybe this Cintiq will help me do some cleaner line art digitally. Okay. I'm going to switch hands with the camera, and I'm going to try out with different buttons are. So this is the new wheel where you can choose things really quickly. And let's see what else all these other things do. Okay, so whenever you press on one, it gives you a little prompt in the corner of what it does. So command, option, pan, scroll. And you can edit these all in the system preferences. Oh, neat. Okay, so you can switch through things pretty quickly too. Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put down the camera so I can use two hands and fully experience the Cintiq. And since I drew an apple the first time I used a tablet, I think I'm going to do the same thing for my first time using a Cintiq. So here we go. So I decided to edit the bottom two buttons on the Cintiq to be my color picker, my eyedropper tool, and the other one to be to change my brush size. So in this time lapse, I'm mostly just using the brush, the color picker, and my brush size tool. And right from the get-go, it was really nice to be able to create line art that I felt looked really nice and not edgy or sloppy because I'm using my tablet, but rather it looked like I was sketching in my notebook. So that was a really great first impression where I could feel comfortable sketching again. And then from there, I went straight into color because color is my favorite thing to do in digital art, and I was a little hesitant to know how well it blends on the Cintiq, but it really is almost the exact same as the tablet. So really no complaints there. And since I've been using a tablet for so long, I guess I felt right at home, getting right into it and just started shading right away. And then another interesting thing was I didn't know how well Liquify was going to work on the Cintiq, but it's the exact same. So a lot of my worries that I had about it, because I have a kind of a workflow with the tablet, were pretty much diminished, and I really have no worries now using a Cintiq. The one thing I did notice right away is that the brightness of the screen of the Cintiq was much duller compared to the brightness of my monitor. So there were times I would catch myself looking back at the monitor and using it just like my tablet before. And then I would realize, no, I'm using a Cintiq, like I should be using this properly, and I would look back down. And it definitely gave me a sense that they need to make the screen brighter, but it's not enough that it would deter me from buying a Cintiq. So I'm still glad I got it in. The brightness is probably the biggest downfall with it. So in here, I'm just going in, just doing some more color and using my skim brush to give it that nice texture detail. And overall, I was very pleasantly surprised with the Cintiq and the usage of it. So here's my Apple, and this has been my first impressions of the Cintiq 13HD drawing tablet. And first impression is really good. It's met all my expectations, and I'm really excited because the line art that I can produce with this is so clean compared to what I normally can do with a tablet. And I always felt I was really strong on paper with line art, but whenever it transitioned into digital art, it did not transition well. So I'm hoping that this Cintiq will help me continue and further that skill. If there's a few things I noticed right away is I smudge the screen a lot. So I'm going to need a glove, and that's something I recommend. And I'll probably end up ordering one tonight because even though they give you this little cloth, I mean, it works all right, but if you're constantly rubbing the side of your palm on it, you're going to need something to clean that up. And the other thing was you want to make sure you calibrate the pen, even if it takes a few times, because I noticed even after I calibrated it, it was just a little off center to the left. So even if it takes you a few times, make sure it's as precise as you possibly can get it. And overall, I'm very impressed. I can't wait to do a full tutorial on it, and I look forward to doing some new art with it. So if you want to find out how to get a Cintiq of your own, I'll put a link to it somewhere in the description below. And like always, guys, thanks again for watching.